Space, the final frontier, might also prove to be at least one unifier in Congress. Both Republicans and Democrats passed a budget pledging $19.6 billion to NASA. Part of that budget comes with a directive from President Trump to put Americans back in space. Lisa Fletcher has more.
How likely is it that we're going to get to Mars?
Oh, we're going to get to Mars. I think it's really a matter of having the right tools to carry humans and the desire to back that up.
John Grant is one of the foremost experts on Mars. A geologist by training, Grant is one of the operators of the 2 rovers currently on the Red Planet. Opportunity, which landed in 2004, and Curiosity, there since 2012. Where are we today when it comes to space exploration?
I think we're actually at a threshold. We're really on, I think, the threshold of understanding whether or not there's life anywhere in our solar system besides here on the Earth.
It's that desire that fueled the space aspirations of the nation in 1961, when President John F. Kennedy told America it would lead in the world by leading in space.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth.
More than half a century later, President Trump has set his sights on Mars.
It's been a long time since a bill like this has been signed, reaffirming our national commitment to the core mission of NASA.
As he made clear on a recent call with 2 American astronauts at the International Space Station.
What do you see a timing for actually sending humans to Mars?
Well, I think as your bill directed, it'll be approximately in the 2030s.
Well, we want to try and do it during my first term, or at worst during my second term, so we'll have to speed that up a little bit, okay?
We'll do our best.
Scientists say realistically, 2033 is the target date for a human mission to Mars. Let's say we dedicated all of the resources necessary to put a human on Mars in the next 10 years. What do we get out of that?
Well, I think you get something very fundamental about humans leaving the home planet. Here we're no longer bound to one single planet around a star. We're starting to kind of branch out and explore and become an interplanetary species. I think that in and of itself says something about humans sort of making a step beyond where we are right now.
And liftoff of the Falcon 9 to the space station.
But as NASA certifies new space vehicles and manned flights to the Moon and Mars are being planned, the Challenger and Columbia tragedies still loom large. Those catastrophic events drove NASA to set a new safety benchmark of roughly 1 fatal accident per 700 flights. But the rush back to space may take on higher risk. A report in the Wall Street Journal states NASA has offered design guidance to the private companies designing the capsule to carry astronauts back to the moon, that the risk of fatality should be no more than 1 in 240 flights. The reality is that manned flight is dangerous. For American astronauts, the risk of a catastrophic failure is still 1 in 9. Obviously, the idea of space travel captures the American imagination. It's part of our identity, but it also costs billions of dollars. Is that something that the U.S. can afford?
I think everybody has to answer that question themselves. I think, based on the folks that I've talked with, that a lot of people share that intrigue in exploration, the excitement of discovery. It's something that has moved our culture forward for many, many years.
But the years between now and astronauts on Mars is set. Congress directed NASA to get humans near or on the surface in the 2030s. Lisa Fletcher for Full Measure.